Good morning, men and women of God. It is another time again God has given us to be in His presence. Remember, there are many people wanted to see this day today, but they have not been able, simply because of some reasons. But we thank God that we have been able to see this day. Remember, we are approaching the Easter season, and as we approach the Easter season, we need to recall back from the Last Supper, even before the Last Supper, from the triumphant entry to the Last Supper, to the suffering, to the death of Jesus, to the resurrection, to the ascension. We need to check these events, how they align each other, and we need to learn lessons from each event, because each event has a significant teaching. And today our verse will be from Matthew chapter 27, verse 11 to 26. Now this is Jesus before Pilate, after Jesus was taken to the Sanhedrin. The Sanhedrin were simply the teachers of the law, the Sadducees, Pharisees, and the high priest, who at that time was Caiaphas. And it says, meanwhile, Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" "Yes, it is as you say," Jesus replied. And he was accused by the chief priests and the elders. He gave no answer. Then Pilate asked him, "Don't you hear the testimony they are bringing against you?" But Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge, to the great amazement of the governor. Now it was the governor's custom at the feast to release a prisoner chosen by the crowd. At that time they had a notorious prisoner called Barabbas. So when the crowd had gathered, Pilate asked them, "Which one do you want me to release to you, Barabbas or Jesus who is called Christ?" For he knew it was out of envy that they had handed Jesus over to him. When Pilate was sitting on the judge's seat, his wife sent him this message: "Don't have anything to do with that innocent man, for I have suffered a great deal today in a dream because of him." But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas and to have Jesus executed. "Which of the two do you want me to release to you?" asked the governor. "Barabbas," they answered. "What shall I do then with Jesus who is called Christ?" Pilate asked. They all answered, "Crucify him." "Why? What crime has he committed?" asked Pilate, but they all shouted all the louder, "Crucify him." Now, when Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere, but that instead an uproar was starting, he took water and washed his hands in front of the crowd. "I am innocent of this man's blood," he said. "It is your responsibility." All the people answered, "Let his blood be on us and on our children." Then he released Barabbas to them, but he had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified. Now this is the time. Now this is the suffering of Jesus Christ. This is the time when the prophecy was being fulfilled, that Jesus would be the suffering servant. And remember, Jesus was accused of many things. He was accused of blasphemy. He was accused of claiming to be God. And at that time, they had this belief of Moses and the olden prophets, that if somebody comes and claims to be God, that is blasphemy. He or she is becoming blasphemous. That is why Jesus Christ was done all kinds of injustices. He was scorched. Do not scorch him. Scorching is the act of taking a whip, a leather whip. And remember that whip has hooks. Maybe 5-meter distance, a hook, up to the end. If you have ever watched "God Can Wash Away My Sin," that video illustrates what Jesus went through in the clear version. Leave these animation movies. These animation movies don't show. But the real suffering of Jesus is contained in that song. It just shows how the soldiers took a red whip, and that little whip wasn't that straight. It had hooks, as I've told you right now. What happened is that Jesus was scourged 23 times. 23 times, you can imagine. You are scourged the first time, second time, until Jesus fell down. You can imagine. And his hands were closed with cuffs. Not police cuffs. They were cuffs which had chains. So his hands were closed there. When I look at that video, when I recap it back in my mind, I remember the love Jesus had until he decided, let me die for these 3 days on the cross. It doesn't matter what I'm going to pass through. It doesn't matter whatever men have planned. But I'm going to endure till the end. Let me just say the truth. Now this is where I'm revealing the whole revelation. At this time, people are being accused falsely of things. And this is happening in the family. And whoever is going to listen to this video, can you listen very keenly? Because I'm pointing out the things which are happening. The heads of the families are accusing them, the wife of that house, or the mother of those children. Nowadays, wives in the families of today are being accused. They are being accused that they did this, they did that, they did that, they did that. So as time passes by, you find that this conflict continues until there is something called divorce. That is why a lot of marriages are not lasting like in the past. In the past, there was nothing like what we are seeing. To make the situation worse, this COVID-19 has worsened things. People have no jobs. People have no money. So marital conflicts will increase. But what I would like to encourage you is, remember, whenever you're going through something tough, whenever you're going through something unpredictable, something that is out of your mindset, remember Jesus. Remember all the weeping he went through. Remember all the striping, scorching, crucifixion, mocking. Remember Jesus. And the word of God says that by his wounds, by his stripes, you have been healed. Remember, Jesus went through the three types of suffering: mental, spiritual, physical. What am I trying to mean? Give yourself strength during that situation. Tell God, I need the strength to endure this suffering. Tell God, I am ready to serve you with a whole heart, Lord. Help me to pass through this situation. And in the end, I worship your name. Remember, the Old Testament prophets suffered more than you. Whoever you are listening to me right now. Remember, the Old Testament prophets were being hated by people because what they said wasn't pleasing. It wasn't nice. And remember, during those times of King Ahab, Queen Jezebel, they accused Naboth of insulting or abusing God and the king. So the question that is arising in my mind right now is, what did Naboth do? Those were false accusations, false witnesses were put before King Ahab. They said it. And that is what happened with the time of Jesus. A time after his arrest from the Garden of Gethsemane. What happened is that 2 witnesses went before Caiaphas. They said, he claimed that he'll tear down the temple in how many days? 3 days, and rebuild it again. Now that's the time when the teachers of the law, Sadducees, chief priests, anybody in the Bible you can imagine at that time was saying, this is blasphemy, this is blasphemy. They were all saying it is blasphemy. But that was not true. Yes, aliwekelewa mambo nyingi. But what does the Bible tells us? He didn't fight them. He didn't use a sword. He didn't kill them. What did they say? Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. So in anything you are going through, remember to always tell God, forgive them. Forgive my enemies who are accusing me falsely. Forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. And keep your stand. Keep your faith. Keep your strength. Because at the end of that situation, you'll find out that strength you had from the beginning to the end is still there. Am I communicating to somebody? Maybe you have lost your job. Maybe your business, you have closed it. It can be outside business because now people are not coming. Lockdown. Things are turning out to be the worst. Remember, our God is a powerful God. He is not restricted. Even if the churches and places of worship have been closed indefinitely. Even if God does not live in a church building, He lives within us. And I believe God is going to give us the strength to endure everything we are going through. And my brother and sister, let me tell you, remember that Christ died for you. He went through all the suffering, all the mocking, all the awkward injustices just for you. Whenever you feel like it is heavy, it is burdening you, tell Christ all the loads. Because in the Bible he says, let the weary and tired come to me, and my burden will be easy on them. So Jesus is asking you today, leave all the heavy burdens to Him. Leave all the situations you cannot find out their cause to Him. He will know. He will give you His burden of peace, and it will be easy. It won't be hard. And it's just to encourage you in this moment. Miracles can happen. Our God is not restricted by lockdown. Our God is not restricted by the closing of churches. Our God is not restricted by corona. Hey, our God is not restricted by men's words. Our God can do exceedingly and above. Hey, God can do greater, mightier, extraordinary things. Because the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that extra. Huh? God can do that extra miracle you're waiting for. So do not give up. No matter how tough the situation is, no matter how it can be, don't give up. God is with you. This saying in the Bible has been written, and it has been written, and it has been said 365 times. Don't fear. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not be afraid of these situations. Do not be afraid of corona. God will keep you safer. God will give you protection. God will provide for you everything. Even if you lost your job, that doesn't matter. God doesn't provide. There are so many testimonies. A person who lost a job, he or she never slept hungry. He or she never slept hungry. No thirsty. No naked. God provided everything. Hallelujah. Hey, God provided for that person. God provided. Even if you don't have that job, just do the little you can do. Ask God, open the way, and be persistent. I tell you, God is going to perform a miracle that men will wonder. Men will wonder, who is this God that this brother and sister worships? They will wonder, who is your God? Watashangaa Mungu wako ni nani? But in the end, they're going to see that your God is powerful. As they come to the end, I would like to give you this quote. It says, when you feel like giving up, when you feel like life has seated on you, recall the journey you began. Recall the journey you began. From the lowest rank to the highest rank. Recall the situations, the ups and downs you have been going through. Recall and gain that inner strength to go through that. Tell yourself you can go through this situation and ask God for His guidance. And He will be with you. Let us pray. Jehovah, I thank you for this afternoon, for this morning that you have been with us, Jehovah. Oh Lord, at this time there's so many things that are happening. People have lost jobs. People have lost their loved ones, Jehovah. People have lost their income. People lost their jobs, which gave them the income, which gave them food on the table. Jehovah, I ask you that may every need that your people tell you every day, may you fulfill it according to your wishes in heaven, Jehovah. And as as this Easter season approaches, as we recall, Lord, all what you went through for us to get salvation, Lord, give us strength to move on and to pass through these situations, oh Lord. And when these situations are over, I believe, Jehovah, that the person who is going to watch this video, Jehovah, I believe, God, I believe you, God, that this person is going to become stronger and even much more mightier than how he was before. Oh Lord, may you listen to our prayers, O Lord, because we believe you are able. There is no other God like you. You are incomparable. Haufananishwi Baba, tunakuomba usikize maombi yetu, nani katika jina la Yesu Mwokozi mkombozi tunaomba na kuamini, amina. Remember to follow me. If you want to follow me, you go to YouTube, search Presence of God Ministries International, Presence of God Ministries International. Watch my videos, like, share, subscribe for this message to reach many people. Unfortunately, my time is up, but thank you so much for following. Thank you so much for, supporting this ministry, and I believe God is going to do a miracle for you. Goodbye. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Shalom.